What's going on, everybody? This is Travis from Candid at the Movies, and today I will be reviewing the supernatural horror film known as The First Omen. You might be thinking to yourself, Travis, you just reviewed a supernatural horror movie with a nun in it a few weeks ago. Yes, I did. But hey, this is something on its own. It is a prequel to the original film, The Omen, back in the 70s. And this movie is shockingly good. This movie does star Neil Tiger Free, Taufik Barhom, Sonia Braga, Ralph Ineson, and Bill Nighy. Probably pronounced some of those wrong. But it is basically about a woman in the 70s who is moving to Rome to do some work in a church. And basically she undiscovers the plot of them trying to bring the birth of the Antichrist, aka Damien. I can definitely say, compared to Immaculate, this movie actually works a little bit better. And what I mean by that is that this movie, if you've watched the Omen movies, you already know the premise is basically about a politician that gets this little baby named Damien, and crazy things start happening. You get some of the plot points from that movie, but this also is its own original thing. And with it being a prequel, it's good to see basically how all of this got started up, how the church was against it in some parts and for it in other parts. It was really cool to see that aspect, and the jump scares in this movie, some are weird and yet some are pretty good and put together very well. I will say the actors and actresses in this movie took it very seriously, and it was refreshing to see everybody just not falling into tropes, which you do still get some of those tropes, but I will say it looked and worked better in this movie. I will truly give Neil Tiger Free all of her respect. She did a great job in the movie. There's a lot of people in this movie that even just by just them being in the background did an amazing job. You got that, you always gonna have that one weird looking nun that just looks like she's just out of it, and she did an amazing job. I can't think of her name right now, but she was amazing. I'll probably clip her in just of how she was looking in the movie. I can definitely say the possession scene in this movie truly is probably one of the better possession scenes I've seen in quite a while. If you remember the early Conjuring movies where they had some possession scenes that were some gripping stuff, this is definitely on that level with that. And I feel like more than anything, even if you haven't seen The Omen, if you just know the premise of what they're doing, you'll go in and have a good time. I will say more than anything, the only thing I will give this movie a little bit of flack is just that it was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I got spoiled by Immaculate just being in and out that quick. This one actually took its time with the horror. It actually made you want to listen to the story, see if these people are going to get out, even though you already know, since it's a prequel, how it's going to work out. It was just it really took its time with it, and sometimes it didn't need to take its time with it. It's right at 2 hours. I feel like this movie could have cut out maybe 10 minutes, and you would have been a little bit better with it. It would have maybe flowed a little bit faster for me. But I think right now, outside of the Blumhouse stuff, we've been getting some pretty good horror for the most part. And I'm hoping that the streak continues. Hopefully it's just not a little blip of good horror and then we just get bad all the way down. I'm hoping that this continues, and hopefully Hollywood continues to make good horror, especially with the subgenre of supernatural religious-based horror. They were on a fail for a long time. They're starting to get back into the groove of it, and I'm hoping that this continues. But I would definitely say this movie is a solid B. I wanted to give it a little bit higher. I feel like the only thing that kind of holds this movie back is that unless you're a movie watcher and you know the actors, not many people are going to see this movie. They're basically banking on the name of The Omen, and there hasn't been an Omen in quite a long time. I think the last one I remember, it had Julia Stiles in it, and that was when I was in high school.
Damn. I'm sorry.
But hey, If you've seen the Omen, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. Did you like the original a little bit better? Did you like the remake? Or are you liking this prequel and how everything's going? Love to hear what you guys got to say in the comments. Please leave us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out more of our stuff, and we will catch you all later here at Candid at the Movies. Peace, y'all.